Hello there, people of YouTube, and welcome to the Spikehead podcast for another TV review where today I'm going to be talking about episode 3 of Game of Thrones season 8. Now, straight off the bat, guys, this is going to be a full-on spoiler discussion, so if you've not seen the episode for some reason yet, then click away now. We don't want to be getting into spoilers if you don't seen it, because this episode, guys, was honestly one of the most emotionally destroying episodes I have ever seen. And I have seen some big negatives about this episode online. It seems to almost be a Star Wars Last Jedi situation where people either loved it or hated it. Me personally, I really dug this episode, but I can see why some people might not like it as much. But we're going to get into this. So basically, it is a big battle for Winterfell between the humans and the dead, the living and the dead, facing off against each other. And this episode starts off fantastically with just a hell of a lot of silence. I think there's a good 5 minutes before a word's said, and it's just Ed going to Sam, "Fuck, took you long enough," or something along those lines. Melisandre, she returns, and within 5 seconds she shows how godlike she is by lighting every single Dothraki warrior's sheath on fire. So the start of the battle takes a while, but basically Dothraki charge in alongside Jorah Mormont and Ghost. Ghost, it's so good to see you back, albeit for 10 seconds, but he's back and he lives. He's still alive. Everyone was worried that he was dead because you didn't see him after what happens to the Dothraki. Because basically, you get this great shock. This episode is very dark. The Dothraki charge in, and you just see all their lights go out one by one, and you see Servant run back, including Jorah. You don't see Ghost run back, and we have no idea how Ghost has survived this, but he is in the preview for the next episode, so at least we still have our favourite direwolf. Well, Nymeria is my favourite, but I don't think we'll see Nymeria ever again. But anyway, the battle continues, and it becomes a straight-up fight, and it's brutal and death happens. There is a lot of death. It's very dark, very claustrophobic. You can't really see much of what's going on in the episode. There are a lot of this episode is very dark memes, but yeah, carrying on with some positives here. The battle was claustrophobic and hectic, but it worked. We have Dany and Jon, who are flying on dragons, burning up these whites, trying to draw out the Night King, because the whole plan is to draw the Night King out and using Bran as bait so that they can attack him. So Theon volunteers to basically protect Bran, and yeah, I'm just going to get straight into the spoilers here, guys. I'm going to start listing off characters that do die. So again, don't know who dies, leave now, because Theon Greyjoy's arc, man, fuck. Honestly, when Bran looks at him and says, "Theon, you're a good man, thank you." Bran's not been himself for a very long time. I feel like that was actual Bran coming through there. And Theon's redemption arc is complete. Like I said in my episode 1 review, it was obvious he was going to die. He wanted to die at home in Winterfell. It's established there. That death is heartbreaking. Just get Theon's face photoshopped on the Red Dead Redemption poster. Come on, guys. That man has had an incredible arc in this series, and I'm really going to miss Alfie Allen as Theon, but he served his purpose and he goes out like a boss. He even tries to take the Night King out, but unfortunately fails miserably there. But yeah, his death got me the most. Ed dies, Dolores Ed, from the Night's Watch. He gets stabbed in the back protecting Sam. Thank you very much, Sam. You were a bit useless in this episode. So he's the first one to go. And surprisingly, Grey Worm doesn't die, but who else dies? Beric Dondarrion, he goes out. The Hound and Beric are defending Arya, who's running from these whites, who, in actual fact, there's a great scene with Arya, which is a full-on horror scene where she's trying to sneak past all these whites. And I do love how they establish Arya's cat-like reflexes she has built up over all this training she's had over so many years. But yeah, Beric, he's out. Melisandre, she dies at the very, very end of the episode. She just takes the necklace off and laments to die. I feel like she does that to keep a promise to Davos, because Davos said he would execute her if she ever showed her face again. She just walks and says, "Don't worry, Davos, I'll be dead by the morning." It's like a promise she made, because Melisandre's purpose in the end was just to defend the living against the night that was coming, the long night. And it was a long night, but it wasn't a long night. This is like a one battle thing, and unfortunately, that big climax everyone's been wanting to see, it doesn't really happen. But I'll get into what people don't like towards the negatives. Continuing on with some positives there. I really loved the bond between Tyrion and Sansa in this. They share a look because basically the Night's King, he rises up more dead, basically cheating. I was watching this episode, I'm like, God damn it, you are cheating right now. But yeah, raises the dead, all the people in the crypts. There's obviously dead people in those crypts, and they come out and start turning people in from them. And Tyrion and Sansa have a moment where they look at each other, and I thought one was going to die, but neither of them did in this episode, which is unfortunate. Well, not unfortunate, because I do want to see both of them make it to the end as much as Sansa annoys me, but I feel like Sansa's going to be very good to go into the end game with. Jorah Mormont looks to be dead. He takes a battering defending Daenerys Targaryen, and he goes out quite well in this episode. He just, if he was going to die, he was going to defend the woman that he loved, despite being in the friend zone. He was there, and he collapses, and Daenerys, she breaks down. It is mad. She's always been very stern and very tough, but seeing her most loyal follower die in her arms, it is heartbreaking. I feel like Theon's death was more heartbreaking. And the only other big death I can really name here is Lyanna Mormont. Both Mormonts are dead. Lyanna basically, she wants to fight, and that girl is a badass. She basically runs up to this giant. He picks her up, he's about to eat her, she stabs it in the eye. You feel her ribs cracking like it's, oh my god. They're seeing this young actress just getting basically crushed to death by this giant was absolutely insane. Now, the action sequences are bloody fantastic in this episode. This episode is very Hollywoodized, and that's where a lot of the negatives seem to have come in. Before I get to the negatives, I just want to give a big shout out to the Hound's little arc in this one, how he literally freezes up in the fire, but he sees Arya fighting, and he suddenly snaps out of it and goes to the fender. And I do love how Melisandre hints to Arya. I didn't click on while I was watching, I'm not going to lie, but she hints to Arya that she's got blue eyes to shut. And yeah, Arya kills the Night King, and that was so good. I see a lot of people calling it dumb, especially a couple of big Game of Thrones YouTubers, but honestly, why dumb? It would make sense for Arya to do it, because she's been trained by Syrio Forel, she was trained by the Hound, sort of, and she spent ages with the Faceless Men, and she has always learned, you can read that from the book, she's always learned to be stealthy. She's a very stealthy, great swordsman. So the fact she managed to sleek through all the Whites and the White Walkers, and then do that awesome dagger drop to stab the Night King, brilliant. That was badass as hell. Bran, on the other hand, come on, bro. You are probably the most powerful character in the show, and you ain't doing jack shit. Jon Snow, he gives up a bit too easy. He's basically goes up to Viserion, just ready to die. He goes out. It's nice to see Daenerys actually do some fighting. We used to seeing her with dragons, but now she's wielding a sword. That is really good. Negatives in the episode, because people are complaining, yeah, the storyline isn't that great. It's a big Hollywood blockbuster battle. And yeah, there are a lot of ex-machinas, but you got to think Battle of the Bastards, there were ex-machinas. The amount of times Jon could have been killed in the Battle of the Bastards, just to be saved by randomers, just because we had main characters saving them, that everyone's saying ex-machina. Honestly, I don't see the hit of this episode. This episode was emotionally draining. It gave a lot of characters some satisfying send-offs, and it cuts down the cast quite a bit, and I just can't wait to see where it goes from here. Obviously, we expect the White Walkers to be the big ending, and now they're all gone 3 episodes into season 8. So that's a bit disheartening, but end of the day, this is the Game of Thrones. The White Walkers, yeah, they're a big threat, but they managed to defeat them and they all banded together. Honestly, how much more can you ask for, guys? We got 3 episodes left, and there's still a throne to sort out. The only option was for them to all lose and die. I was hoping for a stalemate. I honestly thought it was going to be a stalemate with this battle, but if we had to pick one side to win, it had to be the good guys. So the good guys lost. Guess what? There's only Cersei left, and wow, we want Cersei to sit on the throne at the end. Come on, guys. But yeah, story-wise and writing-wise, it wasn't the best. I'm surprised a lot of these characters survive, considering they're just getting swarmed by this endless horde of Whites. But even so, I really enjoyed this episode. That really got me a lot. Theon's redemption arc was just what drew me to this. That scene where Bran says thank you to him, that is just perfect. You can complain about the writing all you want in this episode, because Dany and Jon are a bit useless in this episode, as is Tyrion and Sansa, really. But this was an episode where all the side characters could shine. They could either die, go out like badasses, or yeah, it's just all the named side characters. They get their moment to shine in this episode, and the big ones they don't get their moments to shine yet because that comes towards the end. So I'm satisfied with this episode. I'm very much looking forward to how the last few episodes are going to pan out, and I can't wait to see how they recover from this battle in the next episode. But anyway, guys, Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3. Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. And if you do like what I do on this channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button for more reviews coming all the time. And this is my latest content coming over here. Coming up later on my channel, going to have my Gotham retrospect, which I am starting to work on. And also I'm editing my Avengers Endgame spoiler discussion with my good friend Rob. But keep an eye out for those videos, guys. And until next time, this is that Spikehead Podcast signing off.